What just kind of describe it to me? What's the taste like? How's it feel and things like that?
You don't feel anything when you drink it. But it tastes. It's real bitter. It's like Kool-Aid with no sugar, but sour. Like Robitussin a little bit maybe.
So kind of like describe to me how long are people usually on methadone? Like how long does this treatment go? And like what's your kind of like plan? Hey Chris, how's it going?
Hey, what's up, man? How was your ride?
Good. You ready to go?
Yeah.
Sweet. Cool. So just want to kind of introduce yourself and tell you where we're going right now.
Yeah, my name's Chris, and I'm on a methadone clinic. I go every morning, 6 days a week. Make a U-turn up here and go back.
Cool. So tell me a little bit about this clinic and kind of what your treatment is.
Methadone clinic is methadone is a synthesized opiate, and it helps people get off of opiates, heroin, Oxycontin, Vicodin, and all that stuff. And
you take it right here.
Yeah, it takes the place of that. In my opinion, it doesn't get you high. A lot of people say it does. I don't get high off it, but it keeps me from going into detox. It keeps my mind from thinking about and it's got a shelf life of 24 to 36 hours. So I'll drink a 65 milligram dose this morning, and I'll be good all the way till way past tomorrow. And I'll be back in the morning, and I'll go about my regular life, go to work, and do whatever like anybody else would.
Do you find that like your quality of life and things are just dramatically improved when you're on it, or kind of like is it just, how would you describe it? Like
for me, it instantly. I mean, I drank my dose the first day, and I went to work. I wasn't sick all day. I wasn't out, as a matter of fact, and I started having money in my pocket. And that was the big thing for me, because I couldn't. If I woke up with $7, no one's going to get in my way. I need 3 more to go get better. I've had money in my pocket every day until today, since I've been on this, and just because I haven't got paid yet. But it's helped me be manageable. I've paid my rent 4 months in a row. I've stayed in the same place for the last 6 months, and it's changed a lot.
And that's dramatically different than how things have been for you for years in the past.
Oh yeah, and the last 2 years have been really bad, because I was taking pain medication for some issues with my back, and it just got out of hand. I got out of hand with it, and it became everything was getting, like we say, finding ways and means to get more.
I feel like I see that a lot just with people out there, is they don't just really start with, cannabis or heroin or anything else. They start with Percocet or Vicodin or something they're prescribed to for pain, just really innocuously, and then they end up kind of just helplessly addicted. And I feel like that's something similar that you've experienced.
Yeah, it's helpless if you don't know about it. I've made my choices. I can't say it's helpless for me, but I knew what I was getting into. But in the beginning, I didn't. And the people I've met in my life, most people that are heroin addicts that I've met started out on pills, or more so with the newer generations. It's cheaper.
And it's
pills
just
are so expensive. You can just go get heroin, and you can get twice as much heroin as you can what you pay for pills. But I don't know if it's more deadly or not. I think the deadliness of it all is the same. My plan is to get off of it, within a year. So I'm 6 months in. I'm coming up on in November. After Thanksgiving, I'm supposed to start going down, and I can go down a milligram a day, a milligram a week. I can go down whatever I'm comfortable with. As far as how long people are usually on it, it's a personal choice. I don't really think there's an answer to that question, because and a lot of people that I know have been on it for a long time. I've met a couple people here that came in, got on the regiment, and then got back off it within a year, and they maintain very well. I think it's unfortunate, though, that a lot of people, including myself, we backpedal, we relapse, we make bad decisions, and I think that's where the relapse is. We make bad decisions, and then react on that bad decision, and the next thing you know, it's like if you're an addict, before you know it, after you've used, you might not think it's an issue, and then a couple months have gone by, and you're like, damn, I'm back where I was. Just move forward and maintain employment, housing, and progress in my life, and not go backwards anymore. The way I feel right now, I don't feel high. I just feel like me. I feel normal, and to just be this way all the time is, and to be able to feel this way without something to make me feel this way. Because I know that if I didn't have the methadone, I wouldn't feel this way right now. I would feel physically ill. I would have to go do all these different things to feel this way, So my expectations for myself are just to be normal and be a productive member of the world I live in, and be kind to my neighbor, help people out, because we live in a world where hatred is getting worse and worse every day. So, I don't want to be on the other side of the fence. I want to be in a position to help my friends and my family when things go down, because our world is going to change, and I don't want to be on the street strung out somewhere when they put up barricades and bread lines and curfews. I want to be with my family and my friends.
For someone that's just dealing with some of these issues, or dealing with addiction to opioids, would you recommend this as like a path for treatment for everybody, or like?
It's a path, but not for everyone. One of my best friends I've known my entire life moved down here from Seattle 6 months ago, and we were hanging out doing it for a minute, but he had been on methadone for 15 years, and he told me, it's not for everybody. It worked for me. I got my life back. You might want to try it. And I gave it a chance, and I was like, it worked for me. I've seen it not work for people. We get U8 here randomly, and I know people that have been here for 5-6 years and never passed a UA. There's people that come here, get their methadone, and they go get dope. They're wasting their money and their time because it's also a blocker.
Do they get sick at all, or is it just kind of like?
No, you get the sickness from not having your methadone is extremely bad. It's probably worse than withdrawing from heroin.
It can kill you.
No,
no,
you can't die from withdrawal from methadone. So that's what they tell us. What I've read about it, and what they told me, you can't. Alcohol, yeah, but and heroin, they say you can't either. But I thought I was going to die. I mean, it feels that way. The feeling is the same. You want to pull your arms off. You can't sleep. You can't sit still. You're jittery and sweaty, cold, diarrhea. All the symptoms are the same. But the way they detox you off it, it's possible to get off it without feeling all that.
Do you want to show me what you brought in here, since it's Monday?
Yeah, so today's Monday. I have to bring the empty bottle back, because Saturday you come, you get a take-home for Sunday. You have to bring a lockbox. You have to unlock it in front of them, put it in there, then you leave. And if you don't bring the bottle back, then they will not dose you this morning. They'll make you sit up there to see the doctor. UA, you put you through the whole thing, and then they'll dose you. Because they threaten to not dose you quite often for different behaviors, but the truth of the matter is they won't send you out of there without it unless you cause a big physical altercation. If you got reprimanded, you get reprimanded, and that's that. But so far, so good for me. I passed my UAs, and other than marijuana, which they encourage here, it's for you to get your medical marijuana card. So I'm gonna take this bottle in. I'm gonna get my dose, drink it, and return the bottle.
So yeah, Chris, we've talked about a lot of things today, but like in general, what do you think? What advice would you have just for the Trump administration and people in general, like to fix the epidemic, to kind of address these things head on? What would you suggest?
I would suggest reasonable options. Not just lock us into one choice. Different things work for different people, but I know from my experience that if you take away the pills, then people are going to start doing what people are going to do, heroin, and then you're going to cut funding to methadone clinics or rehab programs or affordable rehab that may not be offered to someone's health care that is now. Then what? Then you're going to have a lot more deaths on your hands if you don't have a solution in place. I think, from what I've seen in my life, there's lots of things that we've addressed, but the solutions weren't the best, and the problem still exists. So is this a problem we're going to actually make go away? Are we just going to put a Band-Aid on it? Are we going to make it worse? What are we going to do?
Hey George, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Good. So this is Shot in the Dark. What's this exactly about? What's going on?
So this is one of our fixed sites where we have participants come to pick up clean syringes. Also, we have naloxone, Narcan, the overdose reversal drug, some hygiene products, and then there's even an opportunity for disposal over there to get rid of dirty syringes, and that way they can stay healthy.
So can you show me a little bit about what you have going on? Maybe start here with the Narcan.
Sure, yeah. So this is the overdose reversal drug naloxone. We have in each kit, we have some instructions in English and Spanish. We have 2 of the vials, which I'll just pop one open
Yeah,
and
maybe
show
just
you.
kind of show us what
And
comes
then
in.
2 hypodermic needles. What this is, if you find someone who's unresponsive and is not waking up after using an opiate, you can pull out one of these needles. You can pull out one of these vials, suck up a little bit of naloxone. It's the same thing that the EMTs drive around with, and then you inject them in a muscle. There's 2 doses in here, which should be enough most of the time to bring somebody back. Of course, we always encourage people to call 911 first, but this is there for emergencies when we need it. We've saved, geez, hundreds and hundreds this year. Well, one of the things that stands out to me the most is, the people have like a certain idea of what an IV drug user is, but what we have found is that our participants in the communities that they have, they want to help each other. They want to stay alive. They want to be healthy. And we have participants that will go around to different houses and make sure that they're stocked with naloxone. They're not getting paid for it. They're not getting anything out of it. They're just going around and trying to help. We have one woman in Sunny Slope that will walk up and down the alleys and make sure that they're put in places where people can find them, and helps save lives all over the place.
So again, now I'll just ask you. Cool. So how was this morning?
So far, so good.
What's the taste and what's it like? Oh, sorry. Actually, let me
Syringes. Everybody gets 30 syringes when they visit one of our sites. There's different gauges and lengths. Obviously, these are going to be used IV drugs. This is important that they have access to clean syringes, because otherwise they reuse the same ones. Things like abscesses, the spread of hepatitis C, the harm reduction kit, HIV. The entire community, not just the IV drug users, are at risk for HIV outbreaks when there aren't syringe access programs. This is a harm reduction kit. Comes with a tourniquet, some alcohol wipes, a little cooker that they can use. It's clean and they can sterilize it pretty easily, and then cotton balls. That's an important part of IV drug use.
Nice. How's this received in the community? Are people taking this for a really good benefit, or?
Well, it's counterintuitive. The idea that in order to help people, you provide them with something that the general society finds to be dangerous or unhealthy. But the fact is, these are people in the lower parts of society that people look over. Healthcare isn't provided, and drug use is a complicated mental facet of our community where people are going to use, and there are a lot of them. There's an increasing number of them, and they're going to use no matter what. We have the opportunity to provide them with service, solidarity, to show them that people do care about their health, and we have the opportunity to make sure that they don't have to have lifelong reminders if they ever do get clean.
Yeah.
They don't have to go to the doctor to pick up their prescriptions for hepatitis or for HIV for the rest of their lives if they do find a point where they want to get clean and want to get off drugs.
Well, you guys are doing a great service here in Phoenix, and thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Yeah,
Thank you.
cheers. Keep it up, guys. Hey, Connor, how's it going? Good, man. So, what are we doing here today?
We're going to talk about Kratom, and we're going to look at some different types of Kratom and talk all about what Kratom actually is.
That's awesome. So just for people who don't really know, what exactly is Kratom, and what type of benefits do people have from it?
Kratom is just a plant. It's leaves and stems from this plant that I think it originated in India, and it's similar to the opium poppy, but it's not an opiate. It just has similar effects.
Yeah, and I heard it binds to the same opioid receptors.
Yeah, it binds to your opiate receptors and creates a opiate-like experience.
So is it like really have the same like narcotic effects, or is it more medicinal? How would you kind of describe it?
There's lots of different types of kratom, different strains, and depending on the strain you get, it will be more or less sedating or stimulating. Not quite the extent of like heroin or other like refined opiates and opioids, but it gives about the same type of relief as if someone was addicted to heroin or any type of opiate and they took something like this, they would have the relief, but it's not physically addicting like other opiates are.
So yeah, I heard. I mean, I think that's something to emphasize is that it's good for treating withdrawals and treating, binds to the same receptors, but it's not ever had any. There's not been any deaths associated with it, at least as far as I've known, and that's just been one of the things. It's helping so many people in different realms with pain and with addiction and things like that. And there needs to be a clear discussion about how beneficial this is, because it's just really helping to save a lot of people and get them through some hard times. Like, so specifically, if you took like a large amount of like some sort of opioid and things like that, and you're withdrawing, how would this benefit, and like what sort of ways does it make you feel?
Well, it will bind to the same receptors as we were talking about, which is what your body is like. It's craving that because your body has stopped producing endorphins and other chemicals on its own because of the strength of the opiates that you've been consuming that it prevents your body and brain from producing all the same chemicals as it normally would. So this is like a replacement as well, but it's not physically addicting, it's not dangerous, and it's also a really good alternative to methadone and Suboxone, because people get on methadone and Suboxone and then they're on it for the rest of their lives, while someone could want to get off of opiates altogether and just kind of like wean themselves off with this and not have to go through all the pain and necessarily depression associated with getting off of opiates or opioids like Suboxone and methadone.
As far as like getting through withdrawals and things like that, how much does this help? Is it different than just, smoking a little bit of cannabis and drinking water? Or?
It's very different than it, because it actually hits the same receptors and gives basically the same relief. You'll feel sedated. You'll have somewhat of an opiate-like feeling, depending on obviously how much you use, how much your daily habit of opiates is. Once you make the transition to something like this, you can wean yourself off quickly because you don't have to go through the physical aspect of the withdrawals at that point.
Well, if we just recently moved there, we probably won't be there very long before they run us off from there. Yeah. Homeless people have nowhere to go. And the police constantly run you off from wherever you're at. You can't even, in an alley, you can't even, I mean, who are you bothering in an alley?
Hey, how's it going, Ian?
Good, man. How you doing?
Good, good. Oh, man, what's your pup's name?
This is Abigail.
Hi.
This is my buddy Connor.
Hi, Connor. Hey, what's up? Nice to meet you.
Cool, yeah, so let's go ahead and walk. How's your day going so far?
It's going all right, man. Had school, hung out at home, played video games.
Nice.
Going to check out a new place, so.
That's cool, enjoying the fall day.
Yeah, that's nice.
I know both you and Connor have experience with, opioid-related things in the past, and I kind of wanted to hear what you guys did personally to, overcome some of the physical side effects and the addictive side effects, and what worked for you guys.
So what I did, I had to leave town. I'm from here in Flagstaff, and it was just a bad thing. I was surrounded by drugs, people using drugs. And I left. I was hitchhiking and hopping trains for a couple of years just to keep myself clean, just to always be somewhere different where I didn't have those connections. That's how I sobered up.
That's interesting. What about you, man? I know you've had some stuff on and off, but
yeah, definitely. It's been like it was an on and off battle for a long time, and I tried pretty much everything, you know, just like rehabs. I even went to Mexico and did Ibogaine. I tried Suboxone therapy for a while, which I don't really consider that even being clean, you know, because Suboxone's an opioid itself. But it came down to getting a naltrexone pellet inserted into my body, which is an opiate blocker, and it takes away cravings, and it's non-narcotic, and it blocks the effects of an opiate if you were able to take it. But yeah, I just got down to like being that desperate. Like I traveled too for a while, but then you know, like I'd end up back in the same places and the same stuff would happen. So yeah, really came down to doing that.
So how long have both of you guys been clean or been like not taking anything?
It will be 2.5 years next month. So in November, I'll be 2.5 years clean.
Nice. What about you, Connor? Has it been?
Yeah, I'll be a year clean in December.
Getting clean helped me to see like where I actually want to be in life. You know what I mean? So I'm going to school and started seeing my daughter again, and you know, trying to do the normal adult thing. I play more music. I don't know. It's all the things that you kind of take for granted when you're high. That you don't care about life. You don't care about yourself. You're using to avoid all of these things. So getting clean, now I have all of those things again, and it matters to me. That's a big thing for me.
What about you, Matt? How are things now? Probably.
Yeah, I mean, it's like really no way to live doing that every day, and you know, it consumes your entire life, and your whole life mission is just to find it and use it, and waking up every day sucks, you know, like, it did suck, and you know, now that I've been clean, I mean, like, I definitely attribute a lot of like the like speediness of my like recovery and transition to being clean to the naltrexone, but you know, it just like totally took that option and that like desire out of the equation. It takes it out of the equation every morning, you know. So you wake up every morning and you're like, how am I going to get high today? Like,
So I think that
how am
was
I
one
going
of
to pay
like
for this?
the hardest struggles that I went through, was like quitting cold turkey and, you know, traveling around, and like there's the whole like mental side to it that people don't think about. Like, sure, you get dope sick and you go through withdrawals, but 6 months, a year later is when like the mental pain really starts, and
Yeah.
you start really contemplating like what you've done and where you've been, and like it's way harder than even the withdrawals, you know?
Yeah, the depression. I'm assuming you're referring mostly to like the depression
Right.
aspect of
Yeah.
it, and yeah, the depression that comes with getting off of that stuff is like nothing I've ever experienced in my life. You know, it's you're not physically hurting, but mentally, you know, you want to. It's like you want to be dead. So.
So I feel like I kind of like forgot. How did you get into like using Connor? Like when was like how did you originally get in?
I was like 17, and actually the first opioid I used was Suboxone, and then like right after that I tried heroin for the first time, and it became like, when can I do this again next? Like, I don't want to be addicted, but when could I get away with doing this again next? And then, you know, over the years, and then finally something happened that was pretty upsetting in my life, and I just went all the way. And it became every day and all day, spending at least like $200 a day on it, you know? And I was doing all kinds of illegal stuff to get that money.
I started taking like pills when I was in high school. I was probably 15, 16. When I started taking like Oxycontins, and it just never quite stopped. I kept doing more and more drugs. And then I started using the needle, and that went on for a while, and then there was a point where it just got out of hand. 8 months of my life just gone, where everything got ruined. And it was totally like, everybody has an antecedent that like draws you into drug addiction, right? There's something that happens, and most of the time it's some sort of abuse or a trauma that occurs. Mine was death. I lost a couple really close friends, really like 2 years ago in the summer. They died within a week of each other, and it just destroyed me. And I had such a hard time like experiencing life normally, and so I just started getting high more and more and more.
If you guys could just give any advice to, you know, someone who's out there struggling, someone who's lost, doesn't know how to stop using, or, you know, has a really expensive hard habit that they're, you know, being subjected to, what would you guys say?
That it's possible to get clean, that it's possible to live a fuller life off of drugs. There's so many options out there for helping you get off. Not that I'm condoning Suboxone or Methadone, but replacement therapies work to a certain extent. And if that's not your bag, I mean, you can get clean. Heroin withdrawal is not going to kill you. It isn't, period. You know, it's going to hurt for about a week, and then you're going to be able to like move forward with your life. That's what I did, and it made all the difference.
I remember in 1999, I saved 1 year, I saved 7 people's lives. I've never took a CPR class in my life, and I gave them CPR. Killed them, brought them back. 3 of them were in my apartment. I used to sell them. But, okay, let her, she wants to talk.
You guys are awesome. What do you have planned for the rest of the day?
Try to make money, get more dope.
Cool. Have a good sunset.
That's about my whole life. All my energy goes on, focuses on getting money to get drugs, to use, to stay well. Because I mean,
you don't even get high anymore.
The heroin nowadays, I have yet to find any good heroin. I was getting better heroin in the joint than out here. Well, I mean, but in the joint, they're getting it from out here somewhere, but I don't know where.
Yeah.
Dope's just went way downhill. You know, when I started, I did my first fix when I was 14 years old. I'm 58 years old now. I've been strung out the whole time, you know. I mean, not all the time, but most of the time, majority of the time, even in the joint, you know.